Streaming right now at 7, breaking overnight, a woman working at a wellness spa on Chicago's southwest side is stabbed by a customer. What police are telling us.
New developments days after a 96-year-old woman was found dead in a freezer on the city's northwest side. A suspect now charged.
And the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates yet again. What that means for your finances as we welcome you in on this Thursday morning.
Live from Chicago's #1 news, ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
Good morning to you. I'm Val Warner.
And I'm Mark Rivera in for Terrell on the second day of February, Groundhog Day. And today is Groundhog Day, of course, Val.
That's right. Still to come this morning. The big question is, will Woodstock really see his shadow? We are live at the annual Groundhog Day event in Woodstock Square, and we're going to take you live to the groundhog prognostication in about 5 minutes.
But first, of course, let's check in with our own prognosticator, Tracy Butler, for your ABC 7 AccuWeather forecast. Hey, Tracy.
Well, good morning, everybody. And yes, and we know that Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow, declaring 6 more weeks of winter. Well, I will tell you, spring officially on the calendar doesn't arrive until March 20th anyway, which is about 6.5 more weeks of winter on the calendar. Today, we do have a clear sky around the area and this morning, and it is kind of breezy out there. Forecasting a high today of 32 degrees. Right now in Woodstock, it is 16 degrees, 21 right now at O'Hare, 21 in Gary. We have wind chills this morning, many of which are in the single digits. We'll have your full forecast coming up. Roz?
We're looking at an average 35 to 40 minute travel time on most of your inbound expressways, but 45 to 50 on the inbound Ike because of a crash near Des Plaines. It's really jamming things up at the west end. If you get on at Harlem, you shouldn't encounter quite as many delays. Off the expressways, we have a couple of suburban issues. The new crash in Wooddale at Devon Avenue and Wooddale Road, and Chopper 7 is up in Zion. This is kind of a crazy crash. We initially heard that a car went into a house at 30th and Gideon, and when Chopper got there, well, it went into the tree in front of the house. We're not hearing the extent of any injuries, if there are any injuries, but there were quite a few emergency vehicles parked along 30th, so an area to avoid for the time being. Mark and Val.
All right, Roz, thank you. Now to a story that broke overnight. A woman is fighting for her life after she was stabbed on Chicago's southwest side.
Police say that she was attacked at a wellness spa where she works in the Brighton Park neighborhood. Jessica D'Onofrio is live at the scene with the latest for us this morning. Jess.
Mark and Val, police tell us that victim was in surgery overnight and she remains in critical condition this morning. She was stabbed multiple times. Now, the incident happened after 10 o'clock last night in the 3800 block of South Archer at Body Health Center. The business is described as a wellness spa, which offers services like massages and body scrubs. The business was just closing for the night when police say the 35-year-old female employee was stabbed by a patron during some kind of altercation. According to authorities, she has stab wounds to her neck and wrists. Police were on the scene overnight collecting evidence inside and outside the business. But at this point, it's unclear exactly what led up to the altercation. Police are still trying to gather information, but they say they've not been able to interview the victim yet. Back here live this morning, police continue to search for the offender, and they have not said if they have any video surveillance from inside or outside the business. Val and Mark, back to you.
Okay, Jess, we'll check in with you soon. Thank you. And new this morning, Indiana State Police say an officer fired at a suspect in a stolen vehicle in Munster last night. Investigators say the suspect tried to ram a police car with that stolen Jeep Cherokee. The suspect was not hit. He ran off when an officer tased him during a chase. That suspect is now in jail in Lake County, Indiana. He has active warrants to be extradited to Cook County for charges here, according to state police in Indiana.
Happening today, a woman is expected in bond court on charges she kept a dead body in a freezer on Chicago's northwest side. 69-year-old Eva Bratcher is charged with concealing a death and moving a body, as well as having a fraudulent ID card. Relatives tell us the woman found in the freezer was Bratcher's mother, Regina Michalski, who was 96 years old at the time of her death.
HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge will be in Chicago today. She'll announce a major plan to help the city pay for combating homelessness. Today's funding announcement comes a week after volunteers conducted the city's annual point-in-time count. It provides an update on the number of people experiencing homelessness. Mayor Lightfoot will be at today's event.
And City Council temporarily blocked Mayor Lightfoot's proposed ComEd deal. The 15-year plan would allow the company to supply electricity to all Chicagoans and pursue clean energy projects. Some question why the long-planned deal was just brought to them this week. The next meeting is in March after the mayoral election. Happening today, Groundhog Day, and we are celebrating 30 years since the release of the movie Groundhog Day, which was filmed in Woodstock.
This is seriously one of my favorite movies of all time. It's on my top 10 for sure. Like, I love this movie. So we're going to see Woodstock Willie emerge to see if he can see his shadow. If he does see it, that means 6 more weeks of winter. Let's take a live look out there right now. You see the crowds over in Woodstock Square waiting to see Willie come out. Yeah, we're going to absolutely take a look here and listen in.
Okay, there the applause.
We have a lot planned for you today. After we finish up here, there is a photo booth in the, northeast section of the square behind me left. Woodstock Willie, if he's in the mood, sometimes he's a little feisty, but if he's in the mood, he will be over on my right side off the stage here. You can line up down the sidewalk and hopefully get a picture with the little guy. If you're going to do that, please have your group ready, have your cameras ready so that we can keep it going, because it's kind of cold to just stand out here and do that. But Woodstock Willie, the little guy, should be available for pictures over there. If you're going to the official breakfast, that's about 2 blocks north of the square at the Woodstock Moose. Part of the movie, The Bachelor Auction, was filmed at the Woodstock Moose Lodge. If you're not going to that breakfast, there are several places around town that will be open serving hot coffee, hot chocolate breakfast, so grab a bite to eat. At 10 o'clock, we're doing the walking tour at 10, yes. The walking tour, Bob Hudgens is in town. Came up from an ice storm in Texas yesterday to lead the walking tour. He was the locations manager for the movie and helped bring Harold Ramis to Woodstock. He's got great behind-the-scenes stories.
Oh, just behind you.
Hey, hello. Bob Hudgens, everybody.
Wow. Well, this is such a thrill to be back, and who would have ever thought? And keep thinking and keep thinking and keep thinking. So I just wish Harold were still with us to realize the impact he's made on Woodstock, but obviously seems to be around the world. This movie has amazing voice to talk about redemption, which we all need, don't we? And so anyway, to Harold.
So Bob will be doing a walking tour around town starting in front of the Opera House at 10. Stick around for that. At noon, you can go into the Harold Ramis Auditorium in the Woodstock Theater to see the movie Groundhog Day on the big screen. The Woodstock Theater, Classic Cinemas, is just down Main Street behind me. That's at noon. Oh, I've skipped a couple of things. Right after our ceremony, the Woodstock Rotary Club will be coming up. They've got an early bird drawing. They have a Jeep over there. They're selling raffle tickets. They're giving away the Jeep, but that's not today. Today's an early bird drawing with some cash prizes. They're selling tickets. The Woodstock Rotary is an amazing group, does lots of great things in the Woodstock area. So buy a raffle ticket. You might win a Jeep. Also at 7:30, after we finish here, Drink to World Peace over on the patio at the Public House. The old courthouse is closed this year for complete renovation inside. Next year, when you come for Groundhog Day, there'll be a brand new restaurant, a brew pub, and other special events happening in the courthouse that's closed this year, but the Drink to World Peace will be happening on the patio. Other things going on this weekend: bingo, a bags tournament, pub crawl. We've got things for you. Maybe you're just here for the day, great. If you're staying for the weekend, we've got lots of things lined up for you. The D200 Education Foundation has an auction going online. Look at the groundhogs in some of the storefront windows around town. I would now like to introduce to you Woodstock Mayor Mike Turner.
Mayor Turner!
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's almost time. Hang on.
I won't be long, but I want to thank all the people that helped put this together. I want to thank the city staff, the Opera House staff that put together everything, all the infrastructure that's going on here. I want to thank Woodstock PD and Woodstock Fire and Rescue. Thank you for being here today as well. I want to thank this Groundhog Day committee. They work all year to make this happen. All right, Rick Belair's, thank you for taking the lead on that as well. All right, so not from Woodstock, raise your hand. Wow, that is awesome. Not from Illinois, raise your hand. Wow. Not from the United States, raise your hand. That is outstanding. Thank you all for coming to Woodstock. Stay here for the day, the weekend, come back and see us in the summer when it's a little warmer. Stop by all those businesses that have opened up today. We got a great square and a great city. Stay here as long as you can. We're so happy that you're here. Thank you very much.
Woodstock Mayor Mike Turner. And we could not do all of this without the support of the city. And it is nice to come back to in the summertime too, or spring when the blossoms are, when they have the city band concert here in the summer. It is a lot warmer than this. Our special guest this year for the 30th anniversary, we are so happy to have him back. I mean, we talk about Harold Ramis, we talk about Bill Murray, but without this guy, we wouldn't be celebrating Groundhog Day. He wrote the original screenplay. Welcome back to Woodstock, Danny Rubin.
Thank you. So I'm from Florida, and you people are nuts. If you're wondering why you're here, it's because I kind of romanticized winter. If you can imagine a Florida kid, how magical it would be to just go outside and freeze to death. When I sat down 33 years ago to... Do you want me closer to the mic? Hello. Thank you for coming. Well, when I sat down 33 years ago to write a movie, I was pretty clear that it was about a person who was arrogant and self-centered and needed to relearn how to live his life by living the same day over and over again. But that story wouldn't have worked unless there was another story, which is about a community of people who choose to come out at dawn in the dead center of winter. But they do it to be goofy and funny and silly. Yeah. And to show community spirit and to be appreciative of the lives that they have. And I just want to say thank you so much for welcoming me back to your town. And now I would like to get on with the show. How about some Woodstock Willie?
One more thing. So Danny will be in the Woodstock Opera House this afternoon at 2, and you can hear lots of stories about Groundhog Day, where it came from, working with Harold Ramis and more. But it is time to get on with the show. I need your help to wake up the groundhog. On the count of 3, I need everybody to shout, "It's Groundhog Day." 1, 2, 3. Have you ever had one of those days?
Supposed to consult with him?
What do you think, Mayor?
This February 2nd at 7:07 or so, Woodstock Willie, the seer of seers, prognosticator of prognosticators, emerged reluctantly but alertly in Woodstock, Illinois, to wish his faithful followers a happy Groundhog Day. Willie looked skyward to the east and then behind to the ground and stated clearly in groundhogese, I definitely see a shadow. 6 more weeks of winter!
Well, Woodstock Willie has spoken, and he is in agreement with Punxsutawney Phil. Both of them saw their shadows this morning, and thus there will be 6 more weeks of winter. But I will say, Val, I love that the screenwriter, right, is back in Woodstock 33 years later, and you could hear when he was talking about what the experience meant to him and writing the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he got a little emotional because it was very personal to him.
And special to everyone's out there. Look at him, Woodstock Willie. Looks like, can you put me back in my hole, please, already?
Did you see them shaking too? Trying to get that groundhog out? Oh my God.
I don't think he wanted to come on out. 6 more weeks of winter. Well, I will say this. The winter that we've had has been decent.
Yeah,
so
knock on wood, it's been pretty okay. But it is cold out there, and somebody who's out in the cold right now, of course, she knows. Diane Pathew is in Woodstock. What's the reaction from so many people that are joining Woodstock Willie out there, Diane?
Oh, that was literally the reaction. Oh, because I'm like, all right, here we go. But nobody wants to hear 6 more weeks of winter. However, as Val said, it's been mild up to this point. Now today, not so much, kind of chilly out here. In fact, and tomorrow's just going to get worse. However, exciting day and days to come Sunday. Because not only are we celebrating Woodstock Willie, but we're also celebrating 30 years of Groundhog Day, the movie. And obviously you got a chance to hear from the people that put the film together, that iconic movie together back in the 90s, the early 90s. So let's talk about what is taking place here in Woodstock. Yes, they're going to have a walking tour. You're going to see all the spots that were filmed and all the spots that, including the puddle, by the way, in the film. Then you're also going to get a chance to see the film. And then there's a pub crawl for the adults and tons of activities for kids the next couple of days. So really big celebration here in Woodstock to celebrate 30 years of Groundhog Day and to celebrate, or not, that Woodstock Willie did indeed see his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter. But if we can keep it like it's been, well, not so much this week, but the last couple of weeks leading up, then we're going to do just fine. Val and Mark, back to you.
Diane, I could not agree more. And you look nice and bundled up. Stay that way, because I know it is cold out there.
I am warm. Did you see my scarf? Did you see my scarf? Wait,
wait, zoom in on that a little bit. I can't see what that. Woodstock Groundhog Days! Oh, that's awesome. Oh, well done, Diane.
I mean,
very cool.
Mark, you know me.
Oh, yeah.
Mark, you know me. If there's swag to have, I'm going to have it.
You're all about it. I am too. We're the same in that department.
Well, that makes 3 of us.
Okay, all 3 of us.
Because I'm always buying something.
All right, thank you very much, Diane. That is awesome. And now, okay, it's 7:18, almost 7:19. Let's check in with our prognosticator, along with another special guest, Gus.
This is Groundhog Gus. Groundhog Gus has finally, emerged from his burrow at about 2 o'clock this morning. Not happy. Gus, what is your vision for our next 6 weeks? Oh, my. Yes, I know General Hospital airs at 2, and we have to get to that. Gus has proclaimed there will be 6 more weeks of winter because spring officially arrives March 20th anyway, and that's about 6.5 weeks from now. So yes, Gus is just going with the calendar forecast. Hope, would you like Gus Yes, so there you go. Groundhog Gus makes his prognostication along with Woodstock Willie and Punxsutawney Phil, all forecasting 6 more weeks of winter. And I will tell you, tomorrow is really going to feel wintry-like. 21 degrees right now at O'Hare, Midway, and Gary. It is a cold morning in Woodstock. We have wind chills this morning that are down around 10 degrees. And our high temperature tomorrow is only going to be around 10 degrees. We are going to wake up to wind chills tomorrow that could get as cold as 20 to 25 below zero. And I think many of us are going to wake up to actual temperatures tomorrow below zero. But it almost looks like spring could be right around the corner as we head into next week. There you see it. We get that quick cold blast here tomorrow. And then those temperatures do go up. And it may even feel spring-like then. Roz?
We have one CTA delay. This is on the blue line, and it's O'Hare-bound trains. They had a sick customer at the Austin station, so trains were holed up there for a while. They're on the move now with residual delays. Still plenty of delays on the expressways, though. We're averaging about 35-40 minutes on most of them. The inbound Ike is 55 minutes from Mannheim to the Burns Circle. They had that crash at Des Plaines. They just took it off at Harlem, so if you get on at Harlem, it's only going to take you about 9 or 10 minutes to get to the Jane Byrne interchange. Elsewhere, we do have one suburban crash to add to the mix in Hinsdale. It's on Ogden at York Road. Back to you guys.
All right, Roz, thank you. Just last month, ComEd proposed raising rates for customers around the Chicago area. Now, this morning, our I-team is hearing from people worried about that potential rate hike, and it could take effect next year and continue for 4 years. Consumer investigator Jason Knowles has more from both the company and consumers.
If you're a ComEd customer, your bill could be higher by next year and then $17 more a month by 2027. Customers are frustrated as the cost of basic needs continue to go up. Camille Boyce is behind on her electric bill because of inflation. She's also been using space heaters this winter to stay warm, which use more electricity. On top of all of it, ComEd recently asked the state to grant a rate hike.
It's very hard right now. I just paid him $150 yesterday. That's all I could afford.
ComEd is seeking a record rate hike.
David Collada is the executive director of the Citizens Utility Board. His organization, along with another consumer watchdog group, Illinois PIRG, plan to challenge ComEd's rate increase request to the state.
This would be a pretty significant rate increase if they get everything that they're asking for.
ComEd proposed a plan to raise rates over 4 years. Year 1, 2024, customers would pay roughly $6.
You can see more of Jason Knowles' story on ABC7Chicago.com. Right now, we need to join our Good Morning America viewers. Tanya Babbage will have a news update coming up.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 7:23. I'm Tanya Babbage. A woman stabbed inside a spa on Chicago's southwest side overnight is recovering at the hospital. This happened at Body Health Center in the 3800 block of South Archer in Brighton Park. Police tell us the woman who works at the spa was stabbed multiple times by a patron during some kind of altercation. According to authorities, she has stab wounds to her neck and wrists. Police say she underwent surgery overnight. She's in critical condition. So far, nobody is in custody. Let's get a check of our ABC7 AccuWeather forecast. Here's meteorologist Tracy Butler.
Hi there, Tanya. Good morning. We have an awfully cold morning out there. Right now, 16 in Woodstock, Aurora, 19 Joliet and Peatone, 21 degrees right now in Gary. Wind chills this morning do bring us down around 10 degrees is the way it feels out at O'Hare and Midway. So it's brisk this morning, but it's bright. Lots of sunshine with us here this morning, and our highs today will be up around 32 degrees, freezing. Tomorrow, we are well below freezing. Bitter cold wind chills tomorrow morning, and temperatures most likely tomorrow morning will be lower than zero. We will take a break, Roz, after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge and put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got a metro delay on Southwest service. It's affecting an inbound and outbound train, 802, 803 outbound, because of some switching problems near Union Station. So far, those are the only two trains affected, but we'll let you know if it continues to be an issue. On the expressways, wow, some pretty heavy traffic, especially on the inbound Ike. Now, we're averaging about 45-minute travel times, but the inbound Eisenhower is still upwards of 55. And then we've got Gapers outbound right around Des Plaines. That's where we had the crash. The crash is gone, but yeah, the backups remain. But at least we have some sun. Here's the White Sox camera and the Dan Ryan.
But he And welcome back. Taking a live look over the city to start you off here. 727 and very cold out there in many places. Yeah, it looks nice, but chilly if you're walking out the door. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates by a quarter point. That move was expected. And Chairman Jerome Powell said hitting pause on future hikes is not top of mind right now. There are still concerns that these raises could trigger a recession. The latest rate hike means Americans will pay more for credit cards and their debt that they're carrying, with an average of $123 extra in interest.
Here's a headline to make summer feel just a little bit closer. Single game White Sox tickets go on sale later on today. Fans get their first crack at those tickets starting at 2 p.m. via MLB.com/White Sox. The White Sox home opener is slated for April 3rd versus the San Francisco Giants.
Tickets also go on sale today for another big summer event here in the city, the first ever Chicago NASCAR street race. Tickets will become available starting at 10 a.m. through NASCARchicago.com. There will be racing downtown on Saturday and Sunday, July 1st and 2nd.
All right, well, this is exciting too. Bidding opens today on an iconic Kobe Bryant jersey, one from his MVP season.
Wow.
It is expected to sell for $7 million. This is according to Sotheby's. It comes with a collection of photos, artwork, books, and a whole lot more. Bidding will end next week. $7 million.
Wow. And it's not just the jersey, as you were mentioning.
Right,
There's a lot of other memorabilia and things like that are
You're getting a lot of bang for your buck.
I'm just trying to sort of justify $7 million for any one thing. So, you know. Oh goodness, though.
And you know what? We just came, I think it
incredible.
was last week or the week after, or a week ago, was his 3-year
3 years.
anniversary of his
I know,
death.
which is still kind of unbelievable.
It's one of those things for me when Kobe passed and when I got the news of it. I remember exactly where I was because being from Los Angeles and growing up with the Lakers and knowing what he did and his impact in LA. And I named my own dog after him.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, personal connection everywhere and just remembering him today. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Definitely. Coming up next this morning, it is Groundhog Day as well. And we now know if Woodstock Willie saw his shadow. We're going to tell you more about that coming up.
Plus the reaction from across the sports world to Tom Brady's retirement announcement. Is it final this time?
watching ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7. Streaming live now.
Now at 7:30, taking a look at the morning's top stories for you. A woman is in critical condition after she was stabbed at the spa where she worked on Chicago's southwest side. This happened just after 10 last night at Body Health Center in Brighton Park. The business was closing for the night when police say a patron attacked the 35-year-old employee and then fled.
The daughter of a 96-year-old Chicago woman found dead in a freezer is due in bond court today. 69-year-old Eva Bratcher is charged with concealing a death and moving a body, as well as having a fraudulent ID card. The woman found in the freezer has been identified as Regina Mahalski. Relatives tell us Bratcher was her daughter and the landlord of the Northwest Side building where the body was found.
Tickets go on sale today for the first ever Chicago NASCAR street race. They can be purchased through the website NASCARchicago.com. They'll be racing downtown on Saturday and Sunday, July 1st and 2nd. Look at that shot, too. That is just amazing from inside the NASCAR.
Isn't that going to be something?
That is going to be such a trip. And you're going to hear it all throughout the city.
Yeah.
All throughout
downtown. A lot different than when I'm going down Lakeshore Drive. I know.
I'm not going that quick. Right. Good morning to you. Welcome back. I'm Mark Rivera in for Terrell.
And I'm Val Warner. Good to be with you this morning. We're going to take a look outside, show you this beautiful shot of our city. Hey, it's going to be a lot of sunshine today, but don't let it fool you because the temperatures are not matching what it looks like on this picture.
No way.
Tracy is standing by with your forecast. Good morning, Tracy.
Hey there, Val and Mark. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, look at these temperatures this morning. You know, they're considerably above where they have been the past few mornings, but even still, 16 degrees in Woodstock, where so many folks gathered for Woodstock Willie's prognostication. 16 there, 21s in Waukegan and Gary, 21 out at Midway. Oh, then there is a little bit of a breeze out there, and that is certainly making it feel a lot colder around the area here today. All in all, we're expecting those highs today up around freezing, but tonight is going to get very cold, and we're going to talk more about that in my next report. Roz?
We start in the suburbs. We have a crash in Warrenville at the intersection of Winfield and Ferry. Northbound traffic on Winfield is a little snug approaching that intersection. Plan accordingly. On the expressways, though, we have a lot more volume. We're looking at an average 40 to 50-minute travel times, except on the Kennedy now. The Kennedy is at least an hour from O'Hare to downtown, and there's the camera. You can see it around the North Avenue curve. We've got some outbound delays as well, but that is going to be your heaviest traffic. And if you come from the northwest suburbs on I-90 to Jane Addam, yes, it is snug right around Lee Street as you come around the curve there and have those sunshine delays. Yeah, I don't mind that so much. It makes dealing with the cold just a little bit easier. Val and Mark, back to you.
Yeah, tell me about it, Roz. Thank you. Now, to today's talkers, we begin with will he or won't he?
Yes, we are talking about Woodstock Willie, of course, and his Groundhog Day shadow. So let's take a look.
Have you ever had one of those days?
Willie looked skyward to the east and then behind to the ground and stated clearly in groundhogese, I definitely see a shadow. 6 more weeks of winter!
All right.
Well, despite that bit of bad news, Woodstock is still kicking off a multi-day celebration of Groundhog Day and, of course, the 30th anniversary of the movie Groundhog Day, which was filmed right there in Woodstock. Look at all those celebrating people.
I know.
And you see that man on the right in the top hat, not the mayor, but right in between. That's the screenwriter. Yeah, he wrote this movie 30 plus years ago. And, you know, he got up to the mic, spoke, and just was very, you know, moved to be back in town and celebrating with so many people. So.
And you saw him blowing kisses there to Woodstock Willie, but he didn't get too close.
No, he didn't. You don't want to get too close.
No. See the look on Woodstock Willie's face. He was like, bug off.
Yeah. You know, they got sharp claws, okay?
Yeah,
they had sharp claws.
That's what I'm saying. He does not want
Yeah.
And Tracy, you had such an interesting bit of trivia here about in Europe how the celebration is a little different in terms of the animal even.
So back in, the German settlers brought this tradition to the United States. And when they came here, they get a hedgehog they have hedgehog over in Europe that they have traditionally used there. But in the United States, hedgehogs were not very common, so they were looking for another hibernating animal, which was a groundhog.
And they found it.
And so there you go.
I did not know that.
And Punxsutawney Phil has actually seen his shadow, counting today. I believe it's up to 104 times. Only 18 times in record has Phil not seen his shadow.
Now that's interesting. How is that?
That is good to know that we're kind of in the majority here, that winter just sticks around.
Did you see any sun out there?
That's what I'm saying. Raza, come on. It's cloudy in Woodstock right there. He's under an awning. How can he even see a shadow?
All the TV camera lights creating shadows.
That counts for something, Tracy.
I keep saying, I was telling you this, Tracy. Why don't they do this at like 12 noon? You know what I mean? Like get the groundhog out there in the middle of daylight coming straight down. No shadows. No shadows. They did that.
I think the groundhog likes to sleep during the day.
Okay, well.
He likes to sleep at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's true. When they're knocking on that.
Too excited to be pulled out of there. You saw how they had to rattle that cage to get his Bill out of there.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, let's move on to this one.
Yes, from groundhogs, and of course, Groundhog Gus, who's been joining us today too, to the GOAT. Tom Brady says this time he is gone for real.
Yeah, the 7-time Super Bowl champ took to social media to make an announcement. We all have heard it before, and here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
I'm retiring for good.
A year to the day after retiring for the first time, an emotional Tom Brady announcing once again he's retiring. And while fans might be hoping for another unretirement, this time it seems the 45-year-old is truly moving on.
Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing.
No, Tom, thank you.
Former teammate and close friend Teddy Bruschi paying homage to the player and the man.
Thank you for being the best teammate I ever had. Thank you for being a friend to me. He came in as a low-round draft pick, 199th. No one knew about him on the team, and all he did was work for everything that he earned.
And the usually animated Stephen A. Smith offering a sincere reflection.
You don't just talk about him as a football player. You talk about him as a leader. You talk about teammates who loved playing with him. You talk about contemporaries and competitors who revered him.
The 7-time Super Bowl winner's last season was far from his best, but he managed to lead the Bucs to the playoffs after posting his first ever losing record. His final game, a blowout loss to the Cowboys. His return to the game last year reportedly strained his 13-year marriage to Gisele Bündchen. They divorced last fall, but Bündchen sending her support yesterday, writing, "Wishing you only wonderful things in this new chapter of your life." While Brady won't be on the field, he's a long way from leaving football behind. He's committed to joining Fox Sports as a lead analyst, a deal worth a reported $375 million over 10 years. Still, there are doubters, including Jimmy Kimmel.
Every year on the 1st of February, Tom Brady comes out of the locker room to announce his retirement, and then if he sees his shadow, he goes right back to the NFL.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
That is too good. That is too good. Way to go, Jimmy. That was awesome. Yeah.
Well, okay, so is this it? Is this really the end? Is he done? Or
The sky is falling. The sky is falling.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, can I say I hope so? I don't know. I mean, maybe.
What do you think, Tracy?
I think he's going to go to a broadcast job.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you definitely think he's retiring from the game.
But what if he's in, and I heard, who was talking about this yesterday? It may have been on Waddle and Sylvie. And they were saying he's in the broadcast booth and he's watching somebody play saying, I can do that better.
I can do better than this.
Get my pads on. I'm going down to the field. And I think that's so funny. I don't know.
Before his announcement, though, he was a free agent, right?
Last year.
Oh, so after this year he wasn't?
After this year, yes, correct, yes.
I don't know. I think, who knows? The door's always open for him. I hope it is. I hope it is.
If he pulls back on this, man, that's just bad.
I know. Well, especially after the season he had, too. That last season, it's like, you could have gone out on top.
I will say it was nice that Giselle sent out that message to him on Twitter. I think that was a class act, and I hope it's genuine and you know, that they do have some sort of, you know, co-parenting friendship type of relationship, because I know all the speculation was, will they get back together now? But I think that ship has sailed.
I agree. I totally agree with you
All right.
there.
Well, if you're on TikTok, you may have seen the 100 envelope challenge videos. The hashtag has accumulated more than 160 million views.
Yeah, look at this. Now there are several different versions here, but here's the idea. You get 100 envelopes and number them 1 to 100. On day 1, you put $1 into the first envelope. On day 2, $2, so on and so forth and so on and so forth until you get to the 100th day where you put $100 in. And by the end, you will have saved $5,050 in 100 envelopes. Now, it's supposed to be an exercise to get you to save money, but the more you think about it, I don't know, the less clever it seems. It's sort of like, okay, every day you're saving a little more and a little more. And, you know, I guess my thought is, if you're doing this, are you not going out and buying the latte? You know what I mean? Like if you're putting the cash in the envelope, are you cutting somewhere else?
Making a compromise.
You know what I mean? Because if you are, then that I think equals saving. But if not, then that just means you have $5,000 you're going to need to put back into the bank to pay your bills. You know, like so I think that's the real question to me. You know,
I guess I hadn't thought about it like that.
Well, we've got these envelopes here with this lovely ABC7 Chicago logo. So we need to, I feel like we should try this maybe and see how much we end up with.
Okay.
But I have to tell you, maybe, you know what we should do? We should just start a collection. We should just go to people and say, you know what, we're doing the envelope challenge. Put $1 in and then bring it back to me. And I'll do a story on it later.
That's kind of cool.
And go out and buy Mega Millions, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, do it that way. All right, ABC7 Eyewitness News. Continue streaming out loud after the break. We are back in 90 seconds.
And good morning, everybody. This was happening this morning in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, there in central Pennsylvania, where Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow. They call him the seer of seers, prognosticator of prognosticators. And yes, that groundhog did proclaim 6 more weeks of winter. This was a tradition that was brought to the United States back in the 1800s. It was started, the first report 1886 in a newspaper, but the first official report when they say Phil did see his shadow was at Gobbler's Knob in 1887. Meanwhile, yes, here at home, Woodstock Willie also seeing his shadow, as did our studio groundhog Gus. Well, 6 more weeks of winter. I'll tell you, tomorrow's going to feel a lot more winter-like. Although it's 21 right now at O'Hare and Midway and Gary and Waukegan, and it's 16 degrees in Woodstock, where I understand there are still a lot of folks gathered there. It is 23 up and Wrigley Field, and 18 degrees in Hoffman Estates. Now 18 in West Chicago, 17 currently in Frankfurt, 18 degrees in Valparaiso. Wind chills this morning. It's a little breezy out there. Feels like it's 5 in St. Charles, 8 right now in Maryville, 11 is that wind chill currently in Zion. Today, bright and beautiful, highs around freezing. Much colder here tomorrow. Roz?
Well, the folks traveling inbound on the Kennedy are definitely seeing the sun, their shadow, because we have those sunshine delays of an hour and 12 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Everything else is averaging about 35 to 40. We have a crash mixed in on the Eisenhower inbound near Central, but the delays continue most of the way in, slow but steady traffic. Now, we've got a couple of crashes to tell you about. This one is on eastbound I-80, approaching 55. It's actually a stall, so that's not causing as much of a problem, but we do have a crash in Bartlett at Route 59 just north of Schick Road, and that is causing some heavy delays on 59 going north. And then we've got a pretty serious injury crash in Braidwood at Reed and French Street, so please be careful in that area. Val and Mark.
All right, Roz, thank you. Well, it's still the middle of winter, but now is actually the best time to be booking your summer travel.
Especially since you're already thinking about trying to get to the summer, want to be a little warmer. ABC's Rena Roy reports on the best ways to get the best bargains.
2022 was not a great year for travel. Flight cancellations, delays, and staffing shortages dominated the headlines and left a lot of frustrated and angry travelers. But Going.com's Scott Kays says he's optimistic about travel this year.
I think the overall trend of travel in 2023 is going to be a renormalization of everything from airfare to cancellations to rental cars.
Kays says that the best way to make sure you're getting a good deal on your flight is to book at the right time.
If you're hoping to travel domestically, trying to get that flight booked by late March. After that point, fares are generally going to move in one direction and it's not down.
If you're thinking about an overseas trip, start looking even earlier.
Probably by late February, maybe early March at the latest. After that point, I think, again, fares are going to get quite a bit more expensive.
Kay says you're likely to get better deals if you look at the beginning or the end of the summer.
The first 2 weeks of June, the last 2 weeks of August are typically going to be 30 or 40% cheaper than flights in the middle of summer.
And if you're intimidated by the idea of booking flights too far ahead of time, don't be. Kay says that airlines have made it far easier to change your flights without having to pay a fee. Plus, it gives you more time to enjoy the anticipation.
Not only are you going to get far cheaper flights generally, but you also give yourself a lot more time to sort of daydream about that trip.
Rena Roy, ABC News, Los Angeles.
I want the hammock. I want the hammock. I want the beach. I want the sand. I want the warm.
And a nice
little drink in there, too.
beverage.
Definitely. Still to come, we're sharing the story of a local business born out of the pandemic that's creating opportunities with ice cream that's making us Chicago proud.
Stay with us. Well, this month, Chicago tourists may experience some sweet treats created on Chicago's west side.
Oh, this is so cool. A local business born out of the pandemic is creating more than just ice cream and helping to build a better Chicago. As we honor Black History Month, Leah Hope introduces us to a North Lawndale woman making us Chicago proud.
A sweet hobby turns into a new business venture thanks to the pandemic.
I actually purchased an ice cream machine as a fun activity to do, like learn how to make ice cream with my children. And the ice cream machine came the day before I got laid off.
Ida Nelson was a former executive assistant from North Lawndale. Now, the owner of Ida's Artisan Ice Cream and Treats, based in an incubator space in East Garfield Park.
I wanted to do my part to create happiness, joy, and peace, and then also to create resources for our hurting community.
Ida's is among 4,800 Black-owned businesses in the Chicago area. Nelson says it's about more than ice cream for her, but creating opportunities. She employs 7 people and is adding more to keep up with demand that's about to grow. The Museum of Ice Cream off Michigan Avenue is featuring 2 of Ida's flavors during Black History Month.
We felt it was extremely important to partner with a Black business that is a local Black business. So it is so important that we bring them into this museum so that people get to try their incredible ice cream and maybe venture into a neighborhood that they're not as familiar with.
I tell my children that we create Black history every day by making the decision to be excellent. I would say that I am a reflection of what good can come from North Lawndale. I am from North Lawndale through and through. I'm excited that not only people in the city or in my community will get the chance to experience this, but people all over the world who come to visit this museum, ice cream lovers all over the world, will get to experience this.
Nelson sells her 50 flavors, including 12 vegan online, while visitors to the museum can sample this month in person. Watch for Ida's storefront coming this summer to North Lawndale. In Chicago, Leah Hope, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
If you have not tried Ida's Artisan Ice Cream, you are in for a real treat.
I need to try it.
Oh.
I need to try it. And moreover, Pierce needs to try. He hasn't had ice cream yet.
Oh, goodness. That's
18 months old, hasn't had ice cream yet. I know, I definitely. And the artwork on those.
Beautiful, right?
It's so
Super
great.
creative and colorful.
Yeah.
All right, all the best to Ida. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. 14 music artists and groups have been nominated for the 2023 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They include Missy Elliott, Sheryl Crow, Cyndi Lauper, the White Stripes, and Rage Against the Machine, among others. Inductees will be announced in May.
Oh, look at that.
I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, that's a great group for sure.
Oh, goodness. Well, we're out of time already. For Tracy and
That went quick.
Roz, I'm Val Warner.
And I'm Mark Rivera. Thank you so much for watching Eyewitness News at 7 a.m. Tanya Babish is going to have news updates. Tracy Butler and Roz Barron, they're going to talk weather and traffic coming up on Good Morning America, and we'll hear from them in just a moment. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow right here at 7 o'clock.
Yep, come on back.
This has been Eyewitness.